Hello, everyone. Welcome to Career Theory. Today, I am hosting Career Theory instead of Sai. The reason is we have planned to come up with a small twist so that Sai can be our guest of the honor today, and we will be asking him and drilling him with a lot of questions so that we get to know why Sai is doing what he's doing and what is the intention behind him starting career theory and what is the intention that where it all started from. So let's get into it. Hello, Sai. Welcome to your own show, Career Theory. How are you feeling today?
Fantastic, Bharat. Thank you so much for hosting this episode today. I am super happy and I feel that I am blessed to have this opportunity to start something that I believe that is going to help everybody who is in the journey of their careers, who is in the journey of their business developments, and moreover, the journey of their life.
Awesome. Awesome. So let's actually step back and start with your journey so that everyone is aware of where you started, how it all came together in place, and we can understand you better. So could you please navigate us through your journey?
Absolutely, absolutely. To begin with, I was born in the southern side of India, which is from south side of the India, and I have completed my education and everything in India itself, which I believe is the biggest blessing I had looking at where I am right now, the kind of situations I went through, and every single situation that I went through, whether in the college or at the environment that I'm surrounded with, at that point of time, it all sounds like the thorns. But now when I look at it, those are the ones that made me what I am today. When I was a kid, it was always like I wanted to see the world outside. But because of the place and the circumstances at that point of time, or the village that I'm living in, going outside of that village was always my dream. I wanted to see what is on the other side of the town. I never went there because for about 20 years, we never got an opportunity to went to the other side of the town. And there is a railway track which passes through our village. I wanted to see where this railway track goes to all the way. Then, as I was growing up, when I started doing this computer science, when I was learning about the computer science technology and all of that, that gave me opportunities to explore the world. When I was a kid, I really cannot face camera. More forget about the camera in those days. I cannot even speak fluently the way I'm speaking now. It was all because of the fairies that would always say, "Oh, the judgment fairies." I would say those are the judgment fairies. Everyone would judge, saying that, "Oh, this is not right. This is wrong. This is you are not speaking the way you're supposed to be," and all these things created those limits in my mind where I was very shy away and I chose not to speak a lot. But now when I look back, every single thing that happened in my life really helped me to propel from where I was to where I am.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially, like you said, a lot of our audience might be going through something similar where they might be relying on the external opinions, which is what you said, judgment fairy in your case. And we don't realize how those opinions block us from winning what we need to win. So tell me, how or when was it for you that you stepped out of that comfort zone? When did you leave your town and what was that journey like?
Absolutely. To begin with, there is one event in my life because everyone has a life changing event that would really change or set the course of our life. When I was a kid, I did not know that I was living in a bad situation, or I never thought that I am having these limits. I was thinking this is all normal and I accepted that as normal and I was living normally. I never painted a picture in my head that this is all unfair and all of those. I never used those words even.
Correct.
But everything changed when this event happened. One of my cousin who was in the US came to India
Mm.
And with him, he brought this magic box. I always call this as a magic box.
Huh.
And he opened that magic box and showed everyone that, hey, this is called the laptop. Okay. And all of the kids, I was about like 10 years or 12 or like 10 or 12 years old at that point of time. All of the kids are have to stay at least like 10 feet away from the laptop so that we don't spoil it.
Yep.
And as he was demonstrating what is the capabilities of it, like all the tools that we know, like a
Yes.
calculator, a game machine, like a typewriter, everything is inside that. I was like,
Yes.
wow. Up until that moment in my life, I know that to do an advanced math, we have to use a calculator. To
Mm.
play a game, we need a separate video player. Like
Mm.
that, I used to believe all of that. But what happened was at that point of time, everything changed because as soon as I see this computer, but more than fascinating about that laptop, what happened was he did not let me touch it. That's when I thought I should do something about it so that I can learn about this magical device and I should master this. That's my intention behind it. And that's how I focused a lot about computer science in the college, even though I was like a call it a D student. I just get marks barely to pass the exam, not to like ace the exam or anything.
Mm.
But
Mm.
the only thing, without putting any effort, without doing a lot of extra work, I was able to ace always is the computer.
So that was fascinating for you when you saw that laptop. You wanted to learn everything about it.
Exactly.
And wow, that's a really interesting story. I think it's
Exactly.
very normal for a lot of people when they see the computer for the first time, everything changes. Wait, you can do a lot in this small box, and it doesn't make sense initially. But yes, I absolutely resonate with what you said.
Absolutely.
So with that kind of journey, when you started your computer science,
Mhm.
and what is the reason, or where did you come up with a reason, like you wanted to be in certain position, certain point where you feel successful in life? What was
Absolutely.
that journey like? Yeah.
Absolutely. Some people looks at their life journey as a sequence of events that happen in their life.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like most of the stories that we hear is something very terrible happens, but in my case it's not the terrible things happened. It's the sometimes our friends helps us to grow, and many times our enemies also helps us to grow.
Yes,
I, I
absolutely.
I don't want to quote the word enemies, but
Correct.
I just created them as enemies in my head. That's why I'm quoting them as enemies. But in reality, those are the fairies, I would say, has helped me. One of my
Hmm.
cousin who is very smarter than me understood this computer science very quickly. Within like weeks, he understood it. I was not so smart. I could not able to understand what he was doing, like how to open a certain feature. Every time I wanted to touch this, they always say, "You don't know this. Step out. Step away from it."
Got it, got
When
it.
this event happened over and over again, it created that insecurity inside me. And
uh,
at the same time, this along with the insecurity, the willingness or the extra effort I wanted to put to learn this device, to master this device.
hmm.
And while I was doing all of this, I have these blocks in my head about who I was. Can I speak? Am I comfortable in my communication skills? All these blocks that were installed in my mind started realizing, surfacing, which is being confirmed by the society, which we can call it as friends and family. They would say, "Oh, you can't speak, you can't do this, you can't do that because you are not good at this." When all these negative connotations, I heard it so many times, they became reinforced in my head. And as they're reinforcing inside me, I was burning to come out of that. That's when I took the steps that are needed. At that point of time, I did not thought they were like the major steps, but when I look back, some of the steps like moving out from a smaller town to a larger town, and
Hmm.
from that, from a medium town to a much more larger town, like that,
Hmm.
every step I was doing, I was like
Hmm.
so focused with the blinders on, and then moving from one job to another job, practicing these interview skills, career development skills. That's how I started from one small town to another larger town to a mega city to another
Mm.
country like that. I started the journey and then I never stopped looking back.
Wow, that sounds like a powerful journey. And I completely, I think, resonate with one of the things which you mentioned was for a lot of people, it's really uncomfortable from moving out of their own comfort zone, which is they are in a particular city, very close to parents, very close to family, friends. And it's very difficult to make those decisions for a lot of people I know. And that is those kind of the decisions are what will make you or break you sometimes, but really powerful journey. And you also mentioned about opinions and friends who can bring you down, but also their energy can be used to bring you up at times. I
Absolutely.
really think that's how we should always look at those people
Mhm.
because they can be fueling something which is good for us, irrespective
Absolutely.
of how they think about us. And yeah, point of time, you mentioned career development, personal development.
Mhm.
What point of time you thought, apart from learning computer science
Mhm.
and focusing on that particular technology area,
Mhm.
what is something that you feel is more important, which changed your life from there?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Even before even before I can be in a place or a spot.
Hmm.
When I was in my college, I used to have three close friends.
Hmm.
When we go visit, let's say we went to a movie, and when we
Hmm.
come back, we used to have these brainstorming sessions of why this movie was done in a certain way, what could have been done better. When I
Hmm.
was in that proximity of those people, every time they discuss about how certain things should have been done and why do you think that person has done in that way, it really
Hmm.
blew my mind about, wow, these guys are able to think not like everybody else is thinking. Somebody would go to an event, come back
Hmm.
and say, wow, this is great, or they might say this is not.
Hmm.
But this proximity, this group of friends, which they happen to be my good friends and my mentors, when we come back, we used to discuss 10 hours, 12 hours, like
Wow.
3 days, 4 days, discussing about the same event. It could be a movie, or it could be meeting someone, or it could be about a topic in the books. We used to
Hmm.
do these brainstorming sessions so extensively, contradicting each other, and then trying to prove ourselves that my point of view is always right. In those
Hmm.
brainstorming sessions, gave me the platform to think differently. That's when I realized that it is very important to have the necessary communication skills to be able to express ourselves. Without the communication, it doesn't matter how many opportunities we can come across, but if I can't communicate my willingness in the right format using the right words, it could be sometimes that opportunity could be a good marriage, sometimes
Correct.
that opportunity could be a good job, sometimes an
Correct.
opportunity could be being in proximity with somebody who you think as an ideal person.
Oh, wow. Powerful,
From
powerful
that
thing.
moment onwards, my brain started working differently. My burning desire became like a big fire inside me. I wanted to do the next thing. Is my life is all about
Yes,
thinking,
yes.
oh, I'm not good at it. I'm not good at it. It's like a month. I keep repeating it. It's not going to be helpful. That's when I started rewiring myself, taking the little bit of help. Although I was like scared inside, I was trying to take the steps that are needed. Sometimes I
Mm,
failed, sometimes I moved forward, but overall, it helped me. When I look back now, every single thing that I thought is a bad event in the past is really the beautiful thing that happened to me in my life.
yes,
If
yes,
without that event, I'm not where I am right now.
absolutely, absolutely. And I think you touched a lot of good points. One, including the proximity and the kind of circumstances you are put in. And like you said, the proximity is something I just wanted to tell our audience. I've said it a lot of times that you become the average of people you hang out with. And in
Absolutely.
your scenario, your friends were your proximity, who were teaching, who were sharing, who were giving all the knowledge that was needed for you to grow out of your comfort zone, and even debating, arguing those topics can sometimes get exhausting, and but still you need to do it because you want to get out of that comfort zone. So those are the things I really wanted everyone to, sometimes focus on. If not friends, create that intentional proximity. Like you said, eventually you figured out and you created intentional proximity around. And absolutely agreed on those, where also mentioned about communication. That's really vital for anyone of our audience to think out of the box. Technology is not everything, and you don't have to deal with one kind of skill all your life. If you know how to communicate, you can get a lot of things done, achieve a
Absolutely.
lot of things. Absolutely perfect. And I also wanted to, because we already touched few of the career related
Mhm.
topics, I wanted to learn more about how your journey within your career
Mhm.
was. Like, how was your ladder that you stepped through,
Mhm. Mhm.
and what are some tips you would suggest which everyone should focus a little more when it comes to career? Yeah.
Absolutely. Looking at where I came from, sometimes it could be a village and the place where there is not a lot of access to technology and all of that.
Mm.
As I was growing up, what I was programmed is look for a job, look for money, look for a
Mm.
job, look for money who is going to give you the happiness. Is the message that I registered. It's not probably the message everyone said around me, but that is how I associated the parts based on what I was exposed to.
Mm.
With this assumption, I was chasing for money. I wouldn't say which is not bad, but as I was growing up more and more, when I came to US, being in visa situations, all of that, they created even more limits in my mind because
Mm.
everybody in my proximity talks about how important it is to have a job, how important it is to have a visa, but no one talks about how important it is to grow yourself, how important it is to really focus on delivering a good value. What is the value looks like, how to communicate with your peers, or how to be in part of certain conferences, which you can grow as well as you can help others to grow. How you can be a role model for somebody
Mm.
who is in the same journey as you in the past. No one talks
Mm.
about it. Everyone talks about, oh, this is visa, the H1 is going to go into this, go into that. Because
Mm.
of this repetition, we repeated so many number of times, it became a habit. And it
Mm.
became, once it became a habit, it started becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy where every single event that happens started creating more fear inside my mind, more panic inside my mind. I was started freezing. But with the time, my burning desire inside me did not stop. I wanted
Mm.
to do something. If I went through certain scenarios, I should help someone to come out of the same scenarios. If I can experience, if I can share my journey, if I can show them what I went through, and
Mm.
if I can give them the confidence that whatever that you're going through is not something that is bad, that is something that is the best thing happening to you.
Mm.
And once I became a citizen and all of that,
Mm.
thanks to the God, thanks to everyone around me,
Mm.
that's when I was introduced to this concept called personal development, which I used to
Wow.
think
Mm.
personal people with the sick mind will only go and do development. This is all
Yeah,
like some kind of motivational strategy which I can learn from a YouTube video, or I can
like
become
a
a
therapy.
like a therapist. Like I was thinking, reading these news articles and everything, I thought B- Bill Gates used to read like 10 books a week or so. Then I said, and then I jumped on to reading books, more and more books. I thought reading more books is more important.
Yeah.
Even though I was learning about new concepts, but I was never able to realize this potential.
Mm.
But luckily, I don't know, they always say when the student is ready, the teacher
Mm.
shows up. Like that,
Yes.
one of my mentors showed up.
Mm.
The reason I chose that particular person is not because he was the greatest or the brightest at that
Mm.
point of time, but eventually he will be the greatest and the brightest. I chose him because he speaks the same language as me. He
Yes.
sounded more like he understands my pain area.
Mm.
That's when I joined his program. as I was in that program, it was very different than anything that I have done in the past. Everything I was doing in the past was like, today I was so excited, I will do it. Tomorrow I'm like not so excited. I'm like the energy
Yep.
goes down. Along with my energy, my motivation goes down. But with this, doing this personal development program has really started making me think differently.
Mm.
From that point on, when I was walking in my journey, one door after another door started opening so that I can take that opportunity and use that opportunity as a stepping stone to go to the next opportunity. That is how the career theory started. The
Mm.
idea of career theory started. It is because I love the philosophy of connect the dots. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
If you think career as one dot and personal development another dot, which helped me to grow, I wanted to connect these two dots.
Mm.
Like this, we can create so many dots in our life, but if we don't connect these dots, they will become silos. We will be
Mm.
working on each one of them, but not working together with them.
Mm.
The moment I started thinking on those lines of how I can connect one dot with another dot, then the idea started flowing through. What if I create a podcast, which will help me to communicate more, which will help me to be in front of camera? What if tomorrow everything becomes remote? I have practiced enough number of times so that I'll be able to present things along with me, along in this journey. I'll be able to show or create hope for a lot more people. It could be younger generation or it could be older generation. That is when this first step I could able to take. Once I took the first step, the next door opened up. Then I took the second step. Then the another door opened up. Now there are so many opportunities, so many possibilities started showing up. And thanks to my coach to begin with, and the opportunity that I got to work with them, and the proximity, more important, coach is one side of the story. The people, I was thinking people were like me, but the moment I am in a different group, the 10 people that I'm hang out with are now no more thinking the same way I'm thinking. They are thinking bigger. That is when my wishes started becoming my dreams. And then from the dreams to wishes to goals to strategies and all of that.
Wow. Wow. You touched a lot of important topics. I was making notes when you were talking because there were so many things I wanted to discuss, including, let's just reiterate everything you said, which is first was communication. And people talk or say that your visa is important, everything this, that is important, instead of focusing on communication. But they don't realize even to go conquer the visa part, it's the confidence and communication and the soft skills that a person is projecting in front of the visa interviewer, which a lot of times is ignored, and people don't realize that plays a lot of important role to crack that visa interview as well, same like every other interview in life.
Absolutely.
And then you talked about the personal development. You were working with a proximity, intentional proximity, a coach, a mastermind group, which I will come back to.
Mhm.
And you mentioned a lot of books you read throughout this journey.
Mhm.
And I wanted to also understand what are some of the books
Mhm.
which you felt that changed your life.
Absolutely. Mhm. Although I read many books, the one book that struck in my mind repeatedly is the Compound Effect. The moment I read the
Mhm.
Compound Effect,
Mhm.
I was like, wait a minute. I can do the same thing over and over again and then get more results. This is what is called as a practice in the past. Now they are calling it as a compound effect. The term has changed. I was like, wait a
Yes.
minute. All my life, they say repeat it, practice it enough number of times. I was thinking they are dumb guys because they are not smart guys. Only the not so smart people will repeat a lot of times.
Hmm.
But once I started reading the perspective of compound effect, then I understood. Wow, this is, as Albert Einstein says, one of the miracle of the planet is the compound effect. Whoever found this compound effect, it just grows by itself. Once we practice enough number of times, it could be positive thinking or it could be negative thinking. or it could be a job interview, or it could be podcasting, or it could be
Mm,
writing. Once we
mm,
practice enough number of times, it's going to change. That's when I started reading books, most of the books. But the compound effect is the one that set the direction for my mind, and Rich Dad
mm,
and Poor Dad is the one which set my direction to see how money works for us, how
mm,
money can work for us rather than
mm,
we working for the money.
mm.
Those are the two things that I can associate my change in direction to.
Absolutely. Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing those books. And when you were saying about repeating a lot of things you do will make you more perfect, close to perfect. And I was thinking about one of the things which Bruce Lee said a lot of times in his interviews is he's not scared of someone who practiced 100 different punch or kicks, but he would be scared from the person who practiced the same punch 100 times. That's the
Absolutely.
power of compound effect. And yeah, if anyone has not read it yet, I would suggest to read that book. I love that book personally, and I would have answered the same Sai. That book changed my life too. And Sai, you also mentioned about the personal development, which I wanted to come back to.
Mhm.
And you said you're part of mastermind group, and what is that journey like, and why are you even part of that group? What is something that is changing apart from, you said, proximity,
Mhm.
mindset? What is it for you? What is the outcome like?
Absolutely. This is a time tested, proven methodology which most of these religions have it, which is called, we can call it as a mastermind, we can call it as a satsang.
Hmm.
In the olden days, they used to call probably with a different name. All it does is we should have be around people that we wanted to, yeah,
Hmm.
probably, yeah, that's the right word. We should be around the people that we wanted to become. But how do we find those people is the
Hmm.
biggest challenge. Because
Correct.
the longer I look around, only around myself, I can't
Hmm.
find them because everyone has a different agenda and everyone wanted to go different routes. If I wanted
Yes.
to grab someone who wanted who, if I want to go to California, I wanted to take the help of someone who are looking forward to go to New. It is
Hmm.
always a tug of war rather than
Working
collective
together.
mind power working together.
Yes.
So because of this in association, or because of this inappropriate association, I had to waste a lot of my time in my life. I was running behind these shortcuts, I would say, to achieve what I wanted to. But the moment I'm inside a group which everyone talks about, everyone talks about growth, everyone talks about certain actions,
Hmm.
then my mind started working differently. That is the power of finding these masterminds. Sometimes we have to create our own mastermind if we have that energy and willing.
Hmm.
Sometimes it is easy to join somebody's mastermind, but this is one of the most powerful thing, or a best kept secret, I would say, which we don't hear a lot from a YouTube channel or from a Google search. But from that moment, once I am in that proximity, it
Hmm.
doesn't happen overnight, but it slowly happened so that my foundation is reconstructed. Now I'm
Hmm.
completely different person. I am no more speaking like the way I used to speak. I'm no more is the same person. Now I am in a journey of personal development, and I will be in this journey of personal development, and I'm happy to help as many people as I can in the journey.
Wow, love it, love it. So that's one of the intentions, guys. If you're listening to this, that is the intention behind the whole career theory. He wants to make sure, and we want to make sure, that we are all growing together in this journey, changing our versions every time and becoming better. And Sai, I wanted to also talk about one thing when you were talking about the idea of masterminds. I wanted to bring up one book which everyone should be reading is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It talks a lot about how important it is to have that mastermind group
Mhm.
of certain intentional, it's people who have but also want to grow in certain areas.
Mhm.
and you should be part of that particular growth team so that they can take you wherever you want to, along with you can help them wherever they want to be. And that was an amazing topic, Sai. I know we want to discuss this more and more, and it's never ending. And I will keep these for next episode. Make sure that we have another episode of Powerful Pact. And yes, if anyone wants to know more about how me and Sai met, you will have to wait for the next episode to know more about it. And Sai, I just wanted to ask one thing. If anyone wants to reach out to you, what is the
Mhm.
best platform where you're available or where you stay, so that if you want to share, people can come hang out with you?
Absolutely. The three platforms, because I am not like into a lot into social networking and all of that. That is one of the area that I wanted to grow
Hmm.
or learn a lot about. LinkedIn is one option. I have my
Hmm.
own website called saidevkumar.com. And you can
Hmm.
reach out me via the careertheory.com also.
Wow.
Careertheory.net. We have contact us form which you can fill up if you are looking for something on the career theory, but on a personal end you can reach out me via the LinkedIn or from saidevkumar.com websites. Any of those medium is
Awesome.
available.
Awesome. Love it. And if you cannot reach him directly, I can always help you reach him. So we will put our social media handles in the description. Thank you so much, Sai, again for giving me this opportunity to host you, who is actually the main host. And it was really wonderful talking to you. I really am grateful for this opportunity. Thank you so much for this.
Wonderful, Bharat. Thank you. It's always pleasure speaking with you. And sometimes, even though we are doing podcasting, sometimes I just flow with my core beliefs so that somebody who is in the same journey can really understand that
Correct.
whatever that happens in our life is not really, we don't have to judge them. Everything happens for a good reason. Sometimes the hardest battles are going to make us the strongest.
Absolutely. Absolutely agreed.
Thank you so much for taking your time and speaking with me, Bharat.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Yep.
Thank you.